Jayce is not morally corrupted. Like I've been scrolling through Twitter, and that combo came up. People just, oh, Jayce, the classic good person, becomes morally corrupted, yada yada yada. And I feel like I definitely get what they're saying, but at the same time, I feel like that's very misleading because what happened to Jayce is not to the point of the usual moral corruption that happens to characters. And the reason why I say that it's honestly what he went through when it comes to his morality change over time is what most just normal main characters go through, like main characters, right? Like the main characters that start off like the super innocent, the world is like roses and rainbows, and then eventually they get hit by reality. Like, hey, not everyone's that good, bro. Like villains be on that villain shit, and then those main characters now understand that okay, life may not be as pretty as I once thought, but they still fundamentally hold good morals. And I feel like Jayce is more on that lane. Because like no one calls those kind of main characters like the super wholesome, everything's all good main character that becomes more, they have that sense of reality hit on them. So now they don't word it that same way as before as everyone's good, but they still believe in like good nature and stuff like that. So no one calls them morally corrupted just because the morals over time got a bit more realistic or a bit more tame than than before. No one calls them morally corrupted because they're still good people, or they still think that they're good, or no, they still act like morally good people. So, and I think Jayce is in that line, whereas like people are wording it like he's some evil ass nigga, or like he used to be good and then now he's evil. No, not even close. Because I still think episode 9 Jayce was morally more like, I don't like power scaling morality, but I still think morally he's like above average than the average person in that series. And we've seen him being compared to a lot of things, because Jayce was someone where the writers of the story, the writers, they put him in a lot of situations where it was easy to fall for temptation. And I honestly believe that most of the stuff that they tempted him with, normal people, like put a normal human, like not a crazy villain, just a normal human in his position in that situation, they would have done the opposite of what he did. Like there's been multiple scenarios of that. So I don't know where this is like, oh, he's evil now, yada yada is coming from. Because yeah, like for example, I know the main thing they're gonna bring up is when he killed the kid, right? Of course, murder is always wrong, yada yada yada. But Jace's view on murder didn't change. He still thinks it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like people acting like he killed the kid and he just, oh shit, like I love this. Oh my god, murder more. Because we even had him parallel Vi in that same scene when like he was basically panicking. He's like, dude, because like he obviously didn't want to kill the kid, but regardless of whether he wanted to or not, the kid's still dead. And Vi was there, like he's telling Vi like, dude, like the kid's dead. Like do we just leave him here? Do we like? He was clearly showing some concern and stuff for the kid because he didn't want that to happen. But even then, he's not only is he not used to that situation, but he was basically asking Vi for advice of what to do and like why people do these kind of things. And then Vi was responding like, the kid signed up for this. It's war's war. This is how life is here. Yada yada yada. Of course, I'm not saying that this makes Vi like a bad or evil person. She just lived in her reality. This is just how things were for her. So it's not like Vi goes out of her way to be malicious and stuff like that. But in that scene, Wu was the more like idealistic. Like thinking life is still, like people still live great lives. Yeah, like Jayce in that scene was still seeing the situation in a more, who can see the gap between Jayce and Vi in that scene? Jayce was still looking at like murder and people fighting and stuff like that as something that shouldn't happen. This shouldn't be dying. And we'll also see how that scene affected him. Because after that scene, he's like, yeah, I'm done with this war shit, bro. Like, killing kids? What the hell? Hell no. I'm pulling out. I don't care if we winning this war, yada yada yada. We're not doing this. And then, keep wanting to bring Vi's like hammer stuff back. And that was episode 8. Like literally, there's only one more episode before it finishes, and this is the guy that's morally corrupt. Like how? Like where's the corruption? Like he's still like, I would think like if a normal good person, right, like someone that was like a pretty good person was to be in that situation, they would react in like a similar way, as in panicking. Oh goodness, I just killed somebody. Yada yada yada. Of course, I'm not saying that what he did, you know, is not bad and stuff like that. It's still bad, but his morals, I never felt like his morals became like villainy or like villainous. And then episode 9, the big thing, like that's the last episode of the series, episode 9. He was talking with Silco. And then in his position, Jayce was like, we are not losing to you guys. It's not possible. Look at our tech. Look at how we ran through your shimmer robots. Like, you're not winning. It's just not possible. But of course, during that fight, the kid died. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Jason's like, he's scared. You know, he doesn't want to kind of have that situation happen, even if he wins. And then Silco was demanding nonsense, well, to Piltover people. It was nonsense. Like, those demands were crazy. And we all know Silco's a bit of a troll. I know Silco was not humble when he was um, writing down those demands. Silco was not humble. When he wrote those down, he was like, yeah, I'm going to write as much shit as I can. I'm going to make a fucking Christmas list of this shit. Hold up. Made a whole crazy list. Gave it to Jayce. Like, he wanted Jayce to haggle. He wanted Jayce to like, nah, you can have this. And then boom, now Silco can start a war, seeing that Piltover don't want to give us what we want. Jayce said, you know what? Fuck it. Even though we are basically guaranteed to win, I'm going to still give you what you want. No matter how unreasonable it is, I just want to avoid war. And then, of course, you can still say there was probably some alternative motives and stuff like that there. But how many average human beings in a situation where they are guaranteed to win, right? Or at least as close to guaranteed as possible. Like, they're very confident that they would win. And they're talking to the person that they can beat their ass easily in war. And that same person they're talking to that they can beat their ass easily is demanding things that they believe is very unreasonable. Like, the person's like, wow, this is very unreasonable demands. I can definitely beat them in war, 100%. Like, I'm so confident. But you know what? I still think it's a better future for us to not fight, regardless of them demanding unreasonable stuff and me being able to almost 100% beat them. I will still give them what they want, because that future of going to war, there'll be too many casualties, yada yada yada. Even if we win, I don't want that. So let's give them what they want. Even though, like I said, there's no precedent for this, right? Like, no one, like, the Undercity has been there for years, so many years now. No one has ever wanted to give them a country until Jayce happened. This is the last episode of the series, and people are saying that this guy that's doing this is morally corrupt. Like, I definitely understand that from episode 1 to episode 9, his morals definitely became like pushed down a little bit, for sure. You know, because episode 1, Jayce would never even hold a weapon. You know what I'm saying? He would never use a weapon to hurt robots and stuff. He would not even consider war. Like, we saw the change. You know, when he was talking to Victor, you know, Victor said, whoa. We said we will never use hex tech for war, stuff like that. But Jayce wasn't trying to use it to kill people, you know, even though he did do it to the kid. But with how Mel was talking, it was like I said in the beginning of the vid, right? It was more so him, like, reality just hit him. Like, he's like, dude, like, we might have to do this. Like he was really contemplating, like, is this the only way? Like, to protect, like, our people and Piltover and stuff like that, do we have to do this? And then they were like thinking back and forth, and yeah, like I said, like, I feel like he was one of those characters where, like, they believe the world is just roses, rainbows, and, you know, like, we don't have to, no violence needed, everything can be solved through just talking and stuff like that. And then he slowly learned that, not that it's impossible, but he learned that how just difficult it is, and how that to protect what you to protect, like, you know, your people and stuff like that, you might have to get a little violent, you know, like, that's kind of what he learned. But at the same time, I still don't think morally he's, like, corrupt. You know, it's like he's some scheming ass nigga that's like, fuck the people, it's all about me. We saw so much times where he could have been that. This man was hex tech to the moon. Hex tech stocks fucking blew up, and he still wanted to cancel all of that just so the people could be safe, just so, like, they wouldn't be endangered. Like, everyone was kind of shook that, you know, the CEO of this, like, hex tech wanted to, like, ruin his bag for the people. And then with the gemstone, he could have been like, you know what, gemstone would have made him, if he was a billionaire at that point, it would have made him a trillionaire. Like Jayce was in his bag, and he could have just, you know what? Here's the gemstone. I'm a, buy it on Amazon, $10 billion, whatever, and then we good. But now he said it's not ready. It's not ready. I'm gonna just, wait till I perfect it, make sure it's safe, and then we good. He gave that up too, and then of course the Zon thing, he gave that up too, and also when he there were also certain scenes where like when he learned about Victor's disease, he was just like, "You're over here using my hex gates and stuff like that for, your political disputes." I wanted to solve real problems like gases in the Undercity and yada yada yada, and even the whole Victor situation. He didn't have to treat like he treated Victor as a brother and a partner. A lot of people wouldn't do that. Like, yeah, Victor helped, but at the end of the day, Jayce had every right to just be like, "Yeah, you're like an aide." You know what I'm saying? I did most of the work. You're like an aide. Don't even trib. But nah, he really held Victor super high. And of course, I'm not saying Jayce is some saint, some perfect dude. Not at all. But people really want to paint him like he's evil. Like, what? There is no way. Because out of all the characters in that series, I think the only one I would say it's like maybe it would be like Echo, maybe just because like it's Echo. But outside of that, because even Heimerdinger had pretty good morals as well. Like I said, I don't like power scaling for rules, but Heimerdinger didn't really hit the fields. Like he didn't go to the Undercity at all. He didn't really see what the people were going through, yada yada yada. So he was still kind of complacent. He was just a good guy, but not to like some like crazy degree. And I'm not saying that, not to some crazy degree. And Jayce has been in situations, like I mentioned earlier, where he could have been tempted so much to prioritize money, prioritize himself, prioritize, not folding, or whatever you want to call it. But nah, he really prioritized just peace most of the time, or just like goodwill, stuff like that, which always surprised me. And that last scene, I don't know if it happened in Ep 8 or Ep 9, but when he was trying to give the plan for Zahn, the council was just like, "Hey, Jayce, yada yada." He said, "Bro, I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me right now, bro. This is what needs to be done. I don't care. This council shit, I don't care." I keep when people get power, right? Because being a council, one of the best position to be in Piltover. Jayce, no precedent before this happened, but Jayce became a council member. He gained so much power, and he was easily willing to throw that all away just to make the Nation of Zon happen. Morally corrupt, by the way. Like I said, I get what people mean, because like I said, he definitely went from like a higher moral plane, but for me, I felt like that's a very unrealistic moral plane he used to be on, to like a more reasonable but still really good moral plane. Like I feel like if you put the average person on Jayce scenes in Ep 8 and 9, and keep in mind these are the last eps, so like there's no more content after Ep 9, Jayce would still make like more morally righteous decisions than Dumb, or at least towards like a better future than Dumb. Because I feel like he was in a situation where it was so easy to be tempted, man. Especially that war thing. Like, if you could win a war, do you know how many people be like, because even if it's not that advantage, right? They could be like, wait, I think we could like have a good 60% chance of hitting this war. They're taking it. They're like, fuck it, 60%, let's do it. Fuck those guys. Jason had like a 95, 98, but he still folded just because he wanted to avoid that. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's an agenda going on, bro. Y'all, because I know Jason's not like a fan favorite. Like I've seen the list. He's never on there, even though he's in my top 2. But I see top 3. He's in my top 3. But yeah, like I feel like people are using that term wrong. Like morally, like I've seen morally corrupt characters. We all have, it's like legit characters that used to be good people and now they're bad people. Like that's moral corruption. Whereas like something like Jayce, I don't think he's a bad person right now. Honestly, I still think he's pretty good. He's just not as good as he was before. But that happens to a lot of main characters or just characters in general, where they think life is one way, like super, roses and rainbows, and then they're like, life isn't like that. It's more like this. That's not corruption, bro. I mean, maybe it is, but I feel like that's misleading, because when people hear that, they think he's evil or they think he's bad now. but nah, he's still relatively good compared to everyone else, or he's willing to give up a lot more for good than normal people. So put respect on him, at least when it comes to that. He don't got to be your top one or whatever, but don't treat him like he's some villain or treat him like he's morally corrupt and he's like a bad person now. There's just no way. There's no way. But yeah, that's about it. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want some more content. Patreon link in the below. Support me there, and I'll be all. Peace.